He's a man on a mission, and he's a man with a message. Please, I have the privilege, as Ireland's ambassador to the United States, to welcome Enda Kenny here to Seattle.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I feel at home here for some reason or other. I suppose the first thing that struck me when I walked into the room was Noreen McCormack from Newport, County Mayo. So you can't get lost in anywhere around the world these days without meeting Irish or the Irish. Let me just say it's really a great privilege to be here as Taoiseach of our country. I think this is the first visit by any Taoiseach here to Seattle, and it's past time that should be so, given the nature and the scale of the Irish involvement here in Seattle and the surrounding King County and further north into Canada. John, thank you for what you do. You have a wonderful reputation. You're a great man. You devote so much time and energy to the cause of Seattle, the cause of Irish Seattle, and the connections with Ireland, and we value that greatly indeed, and thank you very much. You know, when you walk into a hotel room and you kind of look around and pick up the books and kind of get a feeling or a flavour of the kind of place that you're in, and I did that last night, though it was late when we got here, but there's a little quotation here from Robert Pyle of writing in Wintergreen 1986. He said about Seattle, "It is a soft green place where rain rules and mildness moderates the proceedings." So in that sense, feel very much at home from the western side of from the eastern side of the Atlantic to you, the western side of Ireland, and here in Seattle. We know all about that. I'm now going to tell you what my famous story, of course, is. Because Americans used to say when they'd come to Ireland about tourism and all of that, say, you know, it rains in your country quite a lot. And I put up with this for so long that I developed my own line. I said, look, that's true, but it's different. First of all, it's acid-free. Secondly, it's good for your complexion. Thirdly, it's anti-wrinkle. Sometimes you'd hear them say, what did that man say about wrinkles? In any event, I want you to know and understand that we have a shared experience, if you like, on rain and water. We are united by trade and commerce, $6 billion worth, in fact, which is an extraordinary connection from Ireland to the west coast of America. Between 2008 and 2011, Ireland purchased almost $6,000 million worth of goods from Washington State between those years, making Ireland one of this state's largest export destinations. And of course, there is the central matter of Boeing and the fact that Michael O'Leary of Ryanair announced a truly enormous deal of $14 billion approximately with Boeing for the assembly of aircraft here in Seattle, which will mean at least 3,000 extra jobs in that sense. So and the level of that sort of energy and trade between Ireland and Washington State means that at least 10,000 jobs in Washington State are dependent upon Irish companies, and that's quite extraordinary in its own right as well. At national level, as you're aware, or might be aware, Irish companies have invested almost $34 billion in the US, and that means that Irish companies employ about 85,000 people in the United States, across 50 states of the Union, and that in itself is an example of how the links between our two countries have changed, where for the century and a half it was a fact that so many emigrants left and never went back to Ireland and had never had the opportunity to go back, but now it's different. Trade both ways means jobs in America and jobs in Ireland, and in that sense this connection goes right to the heart of our people, of our state and of our cities. And I'm delighted to know that Washington State is the heart and soul of a really vibrant Irish community. As you're aware, thousands and thousands of Irish people left Ireland and came to Seattle and the surrounding region. In fact, on my own family's side, on my mother's side, they went to Butte, Montana. Very large families in those times, as you know, and the descendants of the original people who came there are in Bozeman and Billings and Anaconda and down into Oregon and Portland, and some here in the Seattle region, and some, I believe, here in this room this morning, whom I haven't actually met yet. But I do understand that the relationship of this region here is warm, is invigorating, is real, and that's the kind of thing that certainly we like in Ireland. I want to thank Mike for turning up here this morning. I know that he's appointed John Keane here as his election agent. He's an Irishman who, with a mission himself. You're over here. Thank you, Mike. Everybody give Mike a cheer just in case he's here. Thank you. He's not actually the first Irish mayor either. That goes to County Cavan. John Collins was the first mayor here way back in the 1800s. And if you go back further along the line, there was a guy called Jack Geraghty, who came from County Mayo, no less, and he served on the state's Supreme Court here in Seattle and in Washington. Indeed, the town of Redmond, which is the home, as you know, of Microsoft, was founded and named after John McRedmond from County Offaly. So I understand that in 2000 census, over 800,000 Washingtonians, that's a hard word to say in the morning, Washingtonians, declare themselves to be of Irish ancestry and have that remarked upon their birth certificates. And I know that they're all proud of that ancestry and proud of that connection. This is the year of the gathering in Ireland, 2013. It's a case where we've invited members of the diaspora from all over the world to take the opportunity to go back to Ireland to participate in some of the major events or smaller events. Could be family ties, could be sporting occasions, could be business meetings, could be just a vacation or whatever. And we try to say that for those of you who haven't been there before, that you'll get a really warm welcome and hopefully an experience that will be beneficial for you and provide lasting and happy memories, and also provide an opportunity to fill in the spaces of where Irish ancestry actually fits in. I find in a world that is moving so fast these days that a sense of place is very important. That people like to bring their children and their grandchildren back to where they came from themselves, because it's important in the human dimension and the social dimension of interaction between our countries that people can have a sense of what that means, whether they came from Donegal or Wexford or Dublin or Laois or any of the counties. And I know that here you've got a vibrant Seattle GAA club, the Seattle Galway Association, which is twinned with Galway. I know that John was responsible for that. The Friends of St. Patrick, the Irish Immigrant Support Group, Ceol Cascadia, the Irish Reels Film Festival, and the Irish Pipers Club. I met Ryan outside there. We just set this up, I think it's about 7 years ago, and that's working very well. Let me just say that in the Oval Office on Tuesday, I had the privilege of discussing the question of immigration reform and comprehensive legislation in that area with the President. We met with Senator Schumer, Senator Leahy, and Speaker Boehner on Capitol Hill the same day, and whatever other difficulties the politicians might have on Capitol Hill, they are united in a single objective here of doing something about this in a comprehensive way, and hopefully that can be done before the end of summer. It's not for me to be able to dictate what American politicians will do, but we're very supportive of the process of having that legitimized with a process leading to citizenship for those who want to settle and become full part contributing members to the great country that is the United States. So I suppose, thank you. Let me just say a few very brief words about where we are at home ourselves. Excuse me, I was elected as Taoiseach just over 2 years ago. At that stage, we lost reputation, integrity, credibility internationally. Our country was in a very, very serious state economically, where our people had to borrow 64 billion and have that put on the taxpayers' back. So between this and then, we've worked very hard to restore that sense of credibility, to explain to people that Here's a government serious about sorting out our problems at home, serious about working with our European colleagues to reduce that debt level, serious about focusing on trade and business and opportunity to open the doors for employment, for jobs and careers, so that if young people wish to stay and work in their own country, then that they should have that opportunity. And if they wish to travel to other places around the world, that they do so with a sense of educational qualifications and confidence that they can stand on any stage around the world with their peers. So in that sense, for business people who are here, I want you to understand that this is certainly one of the most open administrations of the last 50 years. To business, to do business. We want to see that the doors are opened, that the red tape is removed, that the obstacles to investing in our country and with our country are removed insofar as we can do that, to help people get back to a point where our economy prospers and starts to grow again. In that sense, the official figures released yesterday show that the growth rate for Ireland for last year was 0.9%, which is over 3 times the average rate of growth in most European countries. So we're seen internationally as an example of a small country making difficult decisions with our people, which is very challenging for them, but moving in the right direction. And the fact that we're 3/4 of the way across that economic river, if you like, means that we know now where the high ground is, and that brighter days are up ahead. We've still got a lot of challenges in Ireland, and we're going to deal with those because we've set out our plan and our strategy, and it's working. And that's why I'm very happy to come to Seattle here to engage with American business, to engage with US trade, to meet the Irish community. I'd like to shake all your hands before I leave here, if that's possible, to thank you for what you do for our country, and in this day and age of digital connection, to keep that very much alive with our people. Because just as those who left Ireland before, in times of great adversity, beat that adversity and kept their relationships with our country alive, so too shall we deal with this. And from that point of view, as I say, it's a privilege, genuinely a great privilege, to be here in Seattle, and to think that we can keep these connections so strong. The second connection that I read in the book last night was from Tom Robbins, Walking on the Western Edge. And I like walking the mountains myself, whatever about the edges, in 1994. And he said, "So, what's so hot about the sun?" I asked. "Sunbeams are a lot like tourists, intruding where they might not belong, promoting noise and forced activity, faking a shallow cheerfulness, dumb little cameras around their necks. Raindrops, on the other hand, behave as if they live here, which of course they do." Thank you all very much. A privilege to be here. Privilege to be here. Finally, if you are going over to Ireland and you're passing through, feel free to call into government buildings. We mightn't be as flourishing as some other countries, but at least we'll rise to a cup of coffee or some home hospitality for you when you are in the vicinity. God bless you all. Noreen and Jacqueline and Rosemary and everybody else, thank you for what you do. I'd like finally to commend Jerry Staunton there, our honorary consul for many years. Where are you gone to, Jerry? You're over there somewhere. He's done a superb job here on the West Coast for Ireland and for America. Jerry finishes his remit this summer, and we thank him for all that he's done for so many Irish people, his courtesy, his professionalism, and his competency, not to mention his kindness, are exemplary for all others to follow on the West Coast. So thank you very much for that, Jerry. We appreciate it. God bless you.
Thank you, Taoiseach. I want to add a few thanks. I know the Taoiseach mentioned Norrie McCormack and Rosemary Fitzsimons, but the Irish Network, a lot of people from the Irish Network helped organise this event this morning, and I do very much thank them for volunteering and for being here at 6 a.m., trying to set up, etc. So thank you. And Taoiseach, we thank you for your leadership, and for we support your efforts to steer Ireland through this economic worldwide downturn. And we're a small, vibrant Irish community, but we'll do our part to help you where we can. Thank you. And I want to let him get around here, but we do have a few gifts that we want to give you to remind you of Seattle, in addition to the view, which kind of, I think, reminds you of looking out over Clew Bay from Crowpatrick on Reek Sunday, you know, through the rain and the fog and everything. But we have an engraved piece of glass. Where's Justin McMahon? Up here, Justin, please. It's in that box there. Justin is president of the Irish Heritage Club, and he's presenting you with a engraved piece of glass that is engraved on Taoiseach Enda Kenny on the occasion of your Seattle visit, March 22, 2013, from Seattle's Irish community. So it's from all of us. So. And then Paula Stokes is a member of Irish Network Seattle here, and Paula's a noted glass artist, originally from County Meath, who's been here for about 20 years, and she does great work to foster relationships with artists in Ireland. And later this year, she is organising a show of Roisin de Butlers at the Museum of Glass in Tacoma. So make sure and put that on your calendar. But besides being recognized internationally in the international glass art community, Paula is just one of many artists who are involved in Irish Network Seattle. And on behalf of the network, she is presenting this piece of hers to the Taoiseach. It's a refined dark green glass piece that signifies the connections between the Emerald Isle and the Emerald City of Seattle. And lastly, Taoiseach, they mentioned the Seattle Gaels. The Gaels adopted the Mayo colours in 1996 after a man from Newport, who was president of the Irish Heritage Club and president of the Gaels, passed away suddenly. So they've been proudly wearing the Mayo colours ever since. And Brian White, the president of Seattle Gaels, is going to present you with one of the Gaels' jersey. He was. Does anybody have the Mayo jersey? Taoiseach, when it finally arrives, we will get it for you. But and Taoiseach, you have to promise to wear it in Crow Park next September, all right? All right, we'll let you go around and shake hands, all right? Thank you. Please don't monopolize them, though, okay?
I might just say one final word. You know, they used to say, where I come from in the west of Ireland, may oh God help us. Now they say, may oh please help us.
We found the jersey. Oh yeah, and it's number 13 because this is 2013, okay? Now you're also actually the 13th Irish government leader since 1922, 13 different ones. So wear that proudly, please.